Investment Migration Insider had a good article on VanUATU, and I wanted to go over some things dealing with this particular country too, and kind of making a comparison a little bit with St. Kitts so you can kind of see the comparison, because this does come up every once in a while. People ask me about this program, and I wanted to go over and highlight some things dealing with this. Also, folks, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And don't forget to hit that notification bell next to that subscribe button. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. Okay, now one of the things I wanted to tell you about is some of the differences in these two countries. And then I wanted to get a little bit in his article. It was a good article that came out. But let's look at the visa-free travel. VanUATU has 130 countries that you can go to visa-free or visa-free on arrival to. St. Kitts and Nevis has 157 countries. There's a huge difference on the visa-free travel. You're looking at 27 countries difference between these two as far as visa-free travel goes. You know, that's a big difference. You know, if it's just a few countries, you could look at the difference and really see if that's, you know, those 3 countries are really going to make that much difference. But when you're looking at 27, that's a lot of differences in visa-free travel. Some of the disadvantages I'm going to go over with you are the location. One of the things I always tell people is, because most people say, well, I'm getting a second passport, citizenship, but I don't plan on moving there. I'm just going to get it and then I'm going to go off somewhere else. This happens a lot of times, but then I see a lot of times what happens. It happened to me. I've got it to happen to a friend of mine also, where you'll get the citizenship by investment in a country. Then you might go, let's say it's in St. Kitts, and then you go to Panama to get your residency. And then what happens is you find out it could be right when you move there, or it could be after you change positions to what you're doing. In other words, you could be thinking you're going to be doing one thing, and then all of a sudden later you change it, and then you find out that Panama will not let you work in that field because you're not a citizen. So you're forced to go back to the country, especially if you relinquish your U.S. citizenship, and you're trying to get your taxes to zero. You end up going back to the country you got your second passport in, whether it's VanUATU or St. Kitts, wherever it is. Well, VanUATU, unless you're living in New Zealand or maybe Southeast Asia, or you're coming from Australia, man, you're going to have a long butted trip coming from there, going back. If you're from Canada or the U.S. or whatever. These are things that you need to think about that people don't think about until later. It literally causes problems in their marriage. You know, people having to travel so far. You got huge expenses, you know, and you got to look at that. So these are things you need to think about. I would be looking at getting a second passport pretty close to where you're living. So if you're forced to go back because your business can't run from another country, that you need to go back to that original citizenship country that you got quick, that you're not traveling, you know, across the world to get there. And the expenses, the hassle and stuff, you'll look back and say, gee whiz, boy, I'm glad I got, you know, my second passport close to where I live. Now, if you're from Australia, you might want to have to look at VanUATU. Then you're going to have to look at the other comparisons like the visa-free travel. St. Kitts, you're going to get 27 more visa-free countries that you can travel to. Another thing, too, is you got to look at not just the location, the visa-free travel, but if you're going with a property option with VanUATU, you're going to have to look at what to choose from. They've got a very, very limited supply of properties. In fact, I'm going to go over a few things with you on this new change they've got, and they're not really specific on it. And another thing, too, is we look back actually several years back. Don't know if they've changed this as of right now, but it was a huge negative in that they had real estate options, but it was only leasehold properties. There were no freehold properties. In other words, you didn't hold title to the property. Now, I've always wondered why people buy leasehold properties to begin with. You know, to me, if you don't have title to the property, man, to me, you might as well be renting. I mean, why you? In fact, Hong Kong, all Hong Kong's properties are leasehold. They're not freehold. And I've always wondered why they convince so many people to buy those properties. But they do for some reason. But anyway, I would be really strongly considering going and getting something that's in that's that far away, when you could be getting something a lot closer. And St. Kitts does have a lot of options to choose from because their citizenship by investment started 1983, right in that area, 83, 84. So you're looking at almost a 40-year period of time that the real estate, now the real estate didn't start maybe right away, but they've got close to 100 different developments versus maybe 3, maybe in VanUATU 3 or 4. So to me, you got a lot more to choose from, and when you do that, you got a lot better deals that you can pick from. But these are some really key things that you're going to have to look for. Now, let me go over a few things with you on this, and on just some things that they brought out in this article. And in the article, they brought out some things that I thought was real interesting. Part of them were really questions that they couldn't really get answers to. Maybe I think they're waiting to get answers from on this. But in 2 press releases, they went on to say in the article here that ostensibly it was issued on the same day, nearly 3 months later ago, but about which nobody seems to have heard. The VanUATU government states that it has appointed a single master agent to oversee a new real estate option, they call here REO for real estate option, which already has 4 approved projects. Now, that's a real small group of real estate projects to choose from, and it's almost questionable, the way they've actually done this. The company afforded the privilege of administering all applications for VanUATU citizenship on the basis of a real estate investment is one NICA Holdings Limited, a company about which hardly any public information is available. And this is one thing I like about the companies that we deal with in St. Kitts. In fact, the main developer we deal with in St. Kitts, he's been here for 50 years, he and his family. And I don't really like new developers that are coming in because it's easy for them to come in and then just take off and leave. And one of the developers that we deal with that we like probably the most is they deal everything in cash. They don't borrow any money. Everything is built, it's paid in cash, they have no debt. This is a big key that you want to be looking for. This way you won't have problems. Everything's finished. In fact, all of their developments and units, we actually sell them when they're finished. Everything's already done. So when you walk in, it's all done. But all other agents must submit their REO applications that we're talking about here through NICA Holdings, which will in turn file the same with the Citizenship Commission. Now, according to the VanUATU Citizenship Commission, NICA Holdings has in turn appointed an exclusive marketing agent to promote the REO internationally. VanUATU Migration Services Limited, a company the Commission indicates may be reached by way of this website titled VanUATU Citizenship Services. Okay, now let me tell you one problem with that. When you have a company that's marketing, a lot of times they have a huge markup in what they're getting on this. And also, you really should be going through these individual developers individually. It should be like one company that's controlling all the developments. And it went on to say that the page contains but a few pages, none of which say much about the company except that it says headquarters in Port Villa. The website says nothing about who is behind NICA Holdings nor how they came to be appointed the sole master agent for the REO. And then it went on to say that the commissioner's website lists one Roy McDonald as the contact person for the REA. Now, who is Roy McDonald? According to the LinkedIn profile, they went on to state here that he's the former manager of the VanUATU Financial Services Commission. The same VanUATU Financial Services Commission maintains a registry of companies domiciled in VanUATU. Searches through its registry turn up no results for the terms NICA, Roy McDonald, VanUATU Citizenship Services, or VanUATU Migration Services. And they went on to say that the commissioner's statement lists 4 projects as approved by the government under the REO. 4 projects, folks, to choose from. That's a real small amount. And number one is, are these individual units that you can buy, or are they freehold? But it went on to say that the units were called Pacific Springs, situated in Rentaboa on the island of Eftate, Narpal Point, Coral Bay, situated on Narpole Point on the island of F8, and then FPF, Rainbow City project situated on Narpole Point on the island of Ife, and then Malay situated on the island of Espiritu Santo. Now, public domain searches for the developments render very little in any way of information on the projects. About Pacific Springs at Rentable and Narpole Point, Carl Bay, there's no public information available. Malay or Espiritu Santo is apparently a livestock farm project. Its listed website is inactive. Man, that's just bad. It's you would think they would have the website up before they had any information coming out. And then of the 4 projects, the only one with an online presence is FPF, Rainbow City. This is an enormous, ambitious project, it appears. Was first introduced some 4 years ago and is still at the early stages of construction. That's bad when you go out 4 years and almost nothing's gone on. Promotional materials on its website indicates it will have thousands of dwellings, a 5-star resort hotel, a 6-star hotel, shopping areas, schools, a Buddhist academy, and a church, sports grounds, and a medical center. Behind the project is a Chinese woman named Ruman Ching, who, according to the Australia's ABC News, has lived in VanUATU for more than a decade and goes by the name of Amy Thing. Okay, now, in its official press release, the Citizenship Commission makes no mention of a minimum investment amount. The website listed as affiliated with NACA, however, states the following: the minimum sale price for the qualifying property under the REO program is US $200,000. Each VGAP, VanUATU government-approved project, which is what this stands for, may have more expensive options for applicants to suit their needs. Applicants may acquire a 50% interest as tenant in common in a qualifying property for $100,000 US. Now, does this mean the minimum investment is $100,000 or $200,000? They went on to say that we're unable to answer that question at this moment, but none of the VanUATU DSP agents with whom IMI had been in touch were able to provide additional information on NACA Holdings or its REO itself. Now, the announcement of the real estate option under VanUATU's program raises a variety of questions, one of which is, why if these press releases were supposedly published at the end of August are the only servicing online now. How come that none of the DSP's other agents know anything about the REO? Yeah, that is kind of strange. Who is behind NACA Holdings Limited, and how did the company come to obtain exclusive rights to file the REO applications? Why can we find out anything about the NACA Holdings Limited or its representative online, or indeed in VanUATU's company register? What's the official minimum investment? $200,000, $100,000, or some other amount entirely? Why did the government not announce any official price in its press releases? By which process were the approved developments selected? Is the real estate option or investment option a part of the VanUATU Development Support Program or the VanUATU Contribution Program, or is it a program unto itself? And then will VanUATU now have a third CIP? Why was there no public tender in VanUATU for the concession of the exclusive right to submit files to the government under the REO? Now, they're basically asking them if they got any more information to give to them, that they would try to publish that. This program has always been kind of fishy to me. It's been always hard to get information on this development. And just the real estate option alone being, not freehold but leasehold, I don't know why they don't change that, because that certainly turns me off. If I was an investor, I definitely would not want to go with leasehold properties. And I would advise you to only go with freehold properties if you're going to be buying for the property option. If you want more information on this, folks, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos as they come out automatically. And don't forget to hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or a comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions, hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. We'd be glad to get back with you. We deal with over 100 citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries all over the world. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.